Good morning, brothers and my friends and brothers and sisters, friends in Simple Freedom and the Power Lead System, and this is in the Power Blog. I do have the DV type of theme which allows you to use a setup that you can just reuse over and over again. And so I started this blog, and then I got to thinking it would be a good idea to teach you something from this blog that you could use as well, regardless of whether or not you're doing what I'm doing at this present time. Now, I have a blog that belongs to the My Lead System Pro system. I am actually working to move my content over into this blog so that I can actually close down everything on that other system. I don't actually want to have to. I'm going to be working only with Power Blog and with our Power Lead system, a decision I made a couple of weeks ago and plan to continue to follow through with that. And so with that in mind, this is not something for everybody, because obviously if you do not have other blogs, you do not have to do this. But I am moving content, so I'm going to show you what I did to do that. I'm starting another blog. This is something that was from that other blog, and I'm going to save this picture because that way it goes in to the other blog, because you don't want to have any content that is somewhere else, because if you lose that place where the content is, then you no longer have it, and it becomes a big hole here instead of what you have. So I've already set it up to go into my builder, which I use constantly. I like the builder because I can load something I've already used over and over again. I have my own setup that I'm using. This one is set up so that I can either do something that just has an image and some text, or I can use an image, text, and a video on this setup that I have put. And I'm going to just let you know what's in here just in case you want to do something similar. One of the things I can do is, I have, in a previous training I told you how you could put share buttons on the top and bottom and how to get those. So go back to the document that I created so that you know how to do that part. And so this first part, the code, never changes until such time as we have share buttons already, and I won't probably go back and change it in old content because that's a lot of work for nothing. So my first piece here is an image. I always like to put an image at the top, and it has this is a new download, so I have to go down to my downloads to get to it, and sometimes it takes a while to show up. Here it is. So I'm putting that in there, and the reason why I'm doing it this way rather than just grabbing the text file part is that I want to make sure that it is clean and there's no possibility of lost elements of this post in the future. So I'm centering it because I don't know if the size is the same as the size in the new blog. And then I have some text here that I wrote, and this is an older post. And another thing you can do, which is kind of nice, is you can backdate your content if it's not current content. In this case, this is 2015 content that I am actually transferring over. I have quite a few posts, so this will take me about a month or so to do this. And when I have, then I am going to cancel out completely on that other system. And that's how strongly actually that I feel about the new Power Lead System blog and the system it has in place and has been in place. Now, I have no reason for the code in the middle. The code in the middle is for the purpose of putting a video there. In this particular post, there's no video. Now, on the bottom, I have some set things that I put here every time. I have a signature icon. You don't have to do this, but I think it makes it more personal. And as if you went back to when Franco reviewed my blog last week, he showed you my whole setup and why it was a good setup. And I use this very same format for every single blog post, because then I kind of have a uniformity there that makes it, and this is being stubborn, it doesn't want to move. I have a uniformity for the purpose of making it so that it is easier to recognize it as my content, and it makes it clean so it's easy for people to see and interact with. And so the other one is a call to action. I always feel like it's a very, very important thing to do, is to have a call to action. And what a call to action is it is something that tells them what to do next. And usually it is asking them to look at something, or to subscribe to something, or to buy something. Generally, a call to action in a blog is not to buy something. It can be, but it's not usually. And so one of the things I also like to do is I have a whole group of tags I throw in so that I don't have to keep on writing them all the time. I have automated my process quite a bit. And this one is a leadership. You know, you can have some categories here. It's a good idea to have just one category and then date it. Since I have just told you that this is a backdated blog post, it is not today's post. I've already put out today's post. And it's a good idea to promote any of your good content, whether it's new or old. And then the last step is to publish. This is a fairly simple way to put a blog post out there. In the regular, I can do this just to show you once this has completed. It's about done. If I do a new post and I show you just what the difference is and the reason why I'm using the other situation, I could do a test post just to show you. Come on. Come on. It's hanging up because I've got a lot of pages open. So I'm going to add a new post. Obviously that post is complete. It has a link. And you can of course use that to promote your post. But let me show you one of the reasons why I do not like to use the main, this is your main blog editor that is in here. This is the typical WordPress blog editor right here. There's not a lot of choices for it. One thing, you can't organize things in all kinds of different ways. So I use the Divi Builder because I want to have the opportunity for a lot of different things. Now, you could do all kinds of things. You can load all sorts of other types of layouts that are already in here, and you can edit once you have them. For instance, what if I wanted to do a sales page for this page? Generally speaking, I would put this in a Facebook page. I mean, into a page rather than into a blog post. But as you can see here, look at all of the possibilities of the different things that you can do because you've got those layouts. There's many already loaded in the library that you can use anytime you want. And you can alter them. You know, if you decide you've got, you don't need the blurbs, for instance, you can delete them. You could change the way this is set up. You can add a row. For instance, if I wanted to add a row, I could make a row that has only one column in it, and then I could add whatever I wanted in here. Maybe I want another image in here, or maybe I want a testimony. And then it tells you to go ahead and create a testimony and gives you the opportunity to put together whatever you want. including in this one it doesn't give you, oh, you can actually upload an image, which this is really helpful if you want somebody that has in the past talked about your services and they endorse your services. You could actually have the opportunity to share with your audience, the new audience, the things that they said and their image, their picture, with their permission, of course, so that you have the opportunity to share with them why that particular thing is important. And a testimony inside of a sales page is a good idea. So you have all kinds of choices in here, or you can just do what I do all the time and grab the pre-made one that I created. And again, if you decide you want something different, you just simply change it in some way. Like for instance, if I have a long post that has more text and more images and more videos, I can add simply by adding another row that will be here. And if it's not a text, I can delete this out and I can put another item in here of any kind that I want to put in here, and here are all the choices of the things that you can put in here. Now whenever I want to put a video in, I put code in and I grab the embed code. That is a good reason. One of the major reasons why I do that is because I want it to be full across the entire space, and I want it to view in a certain way. And like here's another call to action. I've used that before. There's a lot of things that you can do in here that you would not normally do. I don't know what blog is, whether, oh, that's just the blog icons. And then map would be a map of an area where you want them to go if it was a local situation where it was close. You can put a search button, you can put price tables in there, you can put a login. In other words, that way they don't have the ability to see it unless they've logged in and you've given them permission to. There's all sorts of things here that are not in the common blog layout. And of course you can also say, well, I don't really need that place, and I'm going to delete it. And so look upon this as the same as if you have you're building content. I've done this in the past with regular blogs where I have one that I just save as a draft, and it has all of the information in it. It has my signature already in it. I've done that in the past when I didn't have this available to me. But one of the things that makes this really helpful, and I think very powerful, is that you don't have to be just one column. You can change the columns. Like if I wanted to change this format to the text and make it 2 columns, I could come in here and change the structure, and that gives me the opportunity to change it to 2 columns, 3, all kinds of different other combinations, whatever I want. And then you put the content in each of these. And the content doesn't have to be text. It could be one of them is text and one of them is an image. You can change it to anything you want. So if I actually chose to make that into a 2 column instead of a 1 column, then I would have a new module here that I could change. I can also move this on this side or leave it where it is. Say if I wanted this to be text and I wanted this side to be an image, I could do that, and it would make it really cool looking when I got done. I've done that a couple of times in some of my other posts. You can check those out. And so that's why I am now using the Divi Builder, especially because I like this format of giving you all these options of different ways that you can build the content so that it is very interesting and attractive and easy to read. Because I don't know about you, but any time that you have ever been on a blog and it's great big run-on sentences and great big blocks of text with no breaks, people do not like to read that kind of stuff. You have to make it interesting and you have to make it easy to read, and that means breaking it up into small pieces so that it is easy to see and they can do a quick glance. Now, in a lot of cases, I use video. The reason why is because people are more likely to watch a 3 or 4 minute video than they are to read a long blog with a lot of text in it. And they like the idea of being able to scan through and deciding whether or not they want to watch or listen or read what you have to say. And I just give them a small amount of introduction, and then I give them the blog. And that is my explanation of how I lay this out and why, and I hope that's helpful to you.